Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Namaste and welcome to Part 2, Subject 7. Spiritual Master is not an occupation. So we're more than halfway through the 12 subjects for Part 2. I have collected 3 verses for this subject. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur tells a story about a professional priest who was appointed by a landlord to make daily offerings to the family Salagrama sila. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with what is a Salagrama sila, they are sacred black stones that come from the Gandaki River of the Himalayas. In that remote area of the world nestled between 2 mountain ranges, the Gandaki River flows through the village of Salagrama. In ancient times, vast forests of sala trees grew there, and from this came the name Salagrama. The word Shila means stone. There's a very long story about the Salagrama Srila, but in short, they are a direct manifestation of Lord Vishnu himself. In the Skanda Purana, it is said, a Salagrama Srila, when duly worshipped at any place inhabited by any class of people, is able to purify an area with a radius of 24 miles. That area should be considered Vishnu Loka, non-different from the abode of Vishnu. 500 years ago, the great devotee and associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gopala Bhatta Goswami, set out on foot from Vrindavan and walked to the Gandaki River. After his long and arduous journey, Gopala Bhatta reached the river and took bath there. Having placed his water pot in the river, he saw that several Salagrama Srilas had entered into his pot. Removing the Salagrama Srilas from his pot, he again placed them back into the river. But then again he saw that same 12 Salagrama Srilas entered into his water pot. Twice more, he removed the Salagrama Srilas from his pot and placed them back in the river. But the same thing happened. Considering this to be the mercy of Sri Chaitanya, he decided to bring those 12 Salagrama Srilas back to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, Gopal Bhatta began the worship of the 12 Salagrama Srilas with great devotion. One day, a wealthy gentleman approached Gopal Bhatta with a selection of silks and costly silver and gold ornaments and begged him to use them in the worship of the Salagrama Srilas. Gopal Bhatta requested that the man present the silks and ornaments to a temple in Vrindavan where the deity form of Krishna was being worshipped. However, early the next morning, when Gopal Bhatta awoke, he found that one of the 12 Salagrama Srilas, which was approximately 2 inches wide, had manifested as a deity of Sri Krishna, measuring 11 1/8 inches in height. This beautiful deity was named Radha Raman. So, after that brief explanation of Salagrama Srilas, we will continue our story from Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati about the professional priest who was employed by the landlord to worship their family Salagrama Srila. The priest was asked that each day to offer some chestnuts for the satisfaction of the Lord. The priest would take the chestnuts inside the deity room and close the door, as if he was going to offer them to the Salagrama Srila. Instead, the priest would use the Salagrama Srila as an ordinary stone for cracking open the chestnuts. After cracking them, he would eat many of the chestnuts, even before making any offering. In due course of time, the landlord discovered this and threw him out. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta purported, "One who plans to earn money and fame by performance of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam lectures, through publication and compilation of religious treatises, organising congregational sankirtan, all simply for his own sense gratification, may very well be compared to one who makes an attempt to crack nuts with a salagram." Professional priests who try to crack nuts with a salagram are not considered sincere and honest. So here are 3 verses from Scripture on the subject that a spiritual master is not an occupation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1:13-48, by the Lord's order only one should become a spiritual master and cooperate with the Lord. One should not become a spiritual master for one's personal benefit, for some material gain, or as an avenue of business or occupation for earning livelihood. So that's very clearly explained there. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2:3-22, one should not become a pseudo spiritual master as a matter of business to meet one's family expenditures. One must be an expert spiritual master to deliver the disciple from the clutches of impending death. And the third one is from the Visnu Smrti. One who accepts disciples for personal service and fame is unfit to be a guru. So until we meet again for subject 8, Namaste.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare